how to change your identity to become absolutely rich. I need you to understand something. Your whole entire reality is literally playing through you, not to you. See, a lot of people, life happens to them and they're like, oh, this is happening to me, this is happening to me. No, life is happening through you based on your identity. Not only is this video gonna help you with your finances, but it should help you with your family, it should help you with your relationship, your diet, your looks, your confidence, whatever the hell it is going to click in this video for you and you're gonna understand that, okay, my identity is literally playing the whole entire thing, right? So with that being said, get your pen and paper. I worked really hard on this course. Do not watch this video by just watching it and be like, yeah, you're right. No, take notes because that's how we change our reality. So with that being said, how are you gonna change your identity to become rich? Now, first thing is first, we need to understand what the hell is identity. I talk a lot about identity in like a whole bunch of videos. So change your identity. It's all about who you're being, etc., etc. People be like, okay, yeah, I understand, but what does that really mean? What is your identity? Your identity is how you see yourself inside your mind. It is like the story you tell yourself about who you are, the internal narrative that guides every choice you make, right? So you guys can read this a little bit. I'm gonna be like, you know what I'm saying, summarizing everything. But to really break it short, your identity is what you believe about yourself. Right? I just want to make it super simple. Y'all not trying to make it as super simple as possible. Your identity is what you believe about yourself. This story becomes so powerful that it controls your action without you even realizing it. When you say I am, that word I am, super important word, I should have highlighted that. But the word I am, you're declaring your identity to yourself and the world. Once again, to summarize it, your identity is how you see yourself or initially what you believe about yourself. For example, right, and I'm gonna give you so many motherfucking examples. We have positive identity, right? I'm a good entrepreneur who learns quickly. If you see yourself that way, when it comes down to any business that you start, you're gonna see things and learn super quick. If you see yourself as, for example, negative identity, I am someone who can't save money. When you get money, you're gonna do things like not look at your bank account, right? And then when you don't look at your bank account, you're gonna spend money. Another limited identity is I'm just not good with numbers, right? If you say you're not good with numbers, guess what? When numbers are presented to you, what do you think you're gonna do, right? So once again, it's how you see yourself, right? I can give millions of examples. People are like, okay, today's relationships are bad, or today's relationships don't work out. Therefore, you get on the internet and you will see something about a relationship going bad, right? And you'll be like, oh, this is just our generation. But you go to Walmart and you see a perfectly beautiful couple, but it don't click in your mind that, oh shit, there's both in this world. Like I could be this or I could be that, right? It don't click in your mind. Why? Because it's your identity, it's how you see yourself, right? Everybody sees themselves differently, and this is why everybody's living a different reality. Cool, let's go to the next. We understand what identity is. Why does your identity motherfucking matter? Your brain follows your identity, like I said. Your identity controls what you believe you can do. It acts like an invisible filter to every financial decision you make. For example, right, if I give you a business idea, right, like let's just give you a business idea. I give you a business idea and I tell you exactly from A to Z how to make $1 million. It don't matter how much information I give you. If you don't have the identity of somebody who can make $1 million, it will not work. Your brain will literally filter it, right? Because our life is all about perspective, right? Like I said, life is happening through you, not to you. Your brain will filter it, and you're not gonna be able to see what I'm telling you, right? This is why you can have two people going at the same exact goal at the same exact rate, but somebody gets it quicker than the other one. Why? Because it's based on how much the other person or whoever did it first, right? They more likely have a lot more resistance and also are more tapped into the identity of the type of person who does that, therefore they just do it, right? Literally, if I tell you another example of how your mind is almost like a filter. If I say look for yellow cars, right now, you're probably like, okay, I haven't seen a yellow car in forever. But I promise you tomorrow, throughout this week, when you go out, you're gonna see a yellow car. Why? Because your brain is consistently filtering what you're thinking, just like it's filtering your identity every fucking day, right? Limited beliefs that stops your action. I do wanna say this too, right? Identity and beliefs fall in the same thing, right? I don't know if you ever heard people be like, change your identity or change your beliefs, right? And you'd be like, which one do I change? It's really about both, right? When you change your belief, your identity changes, right? Because how does your identity become a thing? Your identity is a bunch of beliefs that makes an identity, right? So for example, if I believe I'm ugly, right? If I believe I'm scared of people, right? If I believe I'm timid, right? All this falls on the identity of probably being a shy person, right? Of probably having social anxiety, like all these different things. So at the end of the day, your identity is basically your beliefs, but in a big ass bowl. That's the way you want to look at it. So when I say change your belief, it really means change your identity as well. Because if you change your beliefs, then you're more likely going to change your identity. right? So limiting beliefs that stop your action. If you think I'm broke, your brain automatically stops you from trying to get rich. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like I said, same thing like I told you, if I give you an idea from A to Z how you're gonna become a fucking millionaire, if you believe that you're broke, as a man think, so is he. If you believe that you're broke, it doesn't matter if I give you a perfect blueprint of exactly how you're gonna do it. You are not going to do it. Why? Because you already feel broke within. You see yourself as a broke person. If I look at myself in the mirror and look at myself and I'm like, damn, I'm broke, right? And this is different for each person, because that's another thing we're gonna talk about. Emotions play a big part. Nervous system, all that play a big part. We're gonna talk about that later. But if I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, damn, I'm broke, and I feel broke, and I see myself as a broke person, I cannot see myself as making money. Why? Because there's a filter there. There's a filter that says I'm broke. So whatever money is out there, I'm not going to be able to see it. I'm not even going to want to do it because I think I'm broke. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, life is happening through you, not to you. You're not looking at the world and weird shit is happening. No, gang. Your life is happening through you. If your reality is being filtered by your identity, how the fuck can you look in life and be like, damn, that happened, I'm mad? No! Your brain is the one making you feel that way. Your identity is the one making you feel that way based on the thing that happened, right? Cool. Let's go to the next, right? Rich identity creates rich action. Wealthy people think and act differently because their identity is built around success, abundance, and creating value. Back to this right here where it says, I am broke, right? If you see things, if you say I am broke, chances are you don't see money out there, right? You don't see money out there. If you say I'm broke, you don't see money. You don't see a way that you can make money, right? And the difference is when rich people, right? Rich people or wealthy people, right? Or abundant people, they see abundance, right? When they look at the world, they might see a bunch of different cars and be like, damn, that's a bunch of different cars I can own one day. You know what I'm saying? They might see, my crib and be like, damn, that's a lot of money sitting here. Like, yo, that painting was $1,000, that painting was $1,000, that TV's $1,000. You look at the world, you might have everything in the world, but you might look at it and be like, in fact, you don't even look at it. You don't see it because life is happening through you. Like I said, your identity is literally filtering your reality. Right? So you might look at this, you might be in this crib and you don't even care about it. You're just like, damn, I'm broke. Because you can't see the abundance, right? Cool. That's the difference between rich identity. And I'm going to talk about like rich identity more, broke identity or whatever. But yeah, let's go to the next, right? Examples of your identity playing out. Identity isn't just who you are, it is the lens through which you perceive the entire world. It is actually a powerful filter, unconsciously determining what information you notice, how you interpret events, and even what you remember. The filter is shaped by your beliefs, past experience, self-perceptions, and even roles that you're embodying every single day. Now, by understanding this, we can literally start understanding exactly how deep our actual perception and our narrative is actually dictating our outside world. It's actually dictating what we see, what we perceive, how we act. I'm going to be breaking out even more how your identity is playing out based on different identity types, right? Identity types. So we have the shy person, right? Scenario. You greet someone in the hallway and they glance at you but do not respond. How you interpret that based on being the shy person, based on being shy, right? Or having social anxiety or whatever the fuck people be saying, right? How you view that is they probably think I'm awkward and not worth talking to. I shouldn't have even tried. This confirms I'm not good at social interaction. I knew this would happen. And it can get deeper. Some people be like, oh, I'm not enough, blah, blah, blah. He looked at me weird. It gets weird. And then people be like, damn, I'm weird, I'm awkward. All these different words, right? That's how you look at it. If you're a shy person, that's how you look at it. And guess what? The outcome of that is you will start avoiding future greetings. You start not talking to people, right? And then not only that, you're more likely gonna miss on a bunch of potential connections or having great friends or etc., right? Like people who be like, for example, oh, I don't trust people. It falls on that a shy person a little bit. I don't trust people. Therefore, when you're around people, you're not gonna talk to them. You're gonna think, oh, this person is gonna do something. Oh, this person ain't trustworthy. Okay, let me stay away from him, right? Therefore, you actually miss out on a lot of opportunities because you don't trust people. Right? Making sense? Cool. The confident person, you greet somebody in the hallway and they glance at you, but they don't respond. Interpretation, it's not personal. Maybe I'll try again later and just acknowledge it's a part of a busy day, right? So we're gonna be showing y'all a perfect example of this, and it's gonna break down exactly how this shit is actually so fucking deep, right? The outcome of this, you're not affected by this shit, right? You just look at it as, okay, that person was probably busy, or like your mind, since you're a confident person, it don't even give a fuck. I'm not gonna lie, you're not even gonna care no more, right? It's literally equivalent to like falling. Let's say you're in public and you fall, right? And you feel embarrassed, right? Oh my God, I'm embarrassed. Sometimes a lot of us will go home that whole night and be like, damn, I really fell. Like, them niggas like probably still laughing at me. They don't give a fuck about you, bro. They don't care about you no more. But that is your identity once again playing out like, oh, I'm weird, like I really felt like that was awkward, I'm a loser, blah, 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 blah. Whole time, whoever the hell saw you fall, don't give a fuck, right? They got their own life they continue worrying about, right? Now, the broke person, I mean, this is about money, right? This is about getting rich, so I want to break it down in this way as well. I'm just kind of showing y'all how identities play out so y'all can actually change your identity, so y'all can understand how deep it is, so it's important to change, right? And also understand that you're not a victim to reality, like your identity is playing out. Okay, cool. The broke person, a mentor offers an opportunity to invest, let's say, in their mentorship. And let's say this mentorship is super expensive, right? Your interpretation as a broke person is, I cannot afford to lose that money. It's too risky. Only people who are already rich can take these kind of chances. I'll just stick to playing it safe, even if it means I will progress slow, even if it means I'm gonna grow slow, right? The outcome passes out on an opportunity, right? You reinforce your scarcity ass mindset, right? Your lack mindset. You also potentially miss a life-changing financial breakthrough and you stay in your comfort zone, right? That's how a broke person will see a situation like that. Now, we have the wealthy person, right? A mentor offers them a super expensive mentorship. How they interpret this? This is an interesting calculated risk. What is a potential upside? How much am I willing to allocate towards this type of growth? And I need to analyze the data and the team. Like I said, the difference between a broke person and a rich person is the rich person is looking at the positivity of it. Now, he's not being blind, right? The wealthy person is not being blind, like in the identity of just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna do it, fuck it. No, it's not being blind. But he says, okay, what's the worst case scenario? What's the most positive case scenario, right? But I'm gonna look at the most positive case scenario and see if I can go towards that route. That is the difference between your identity playing out, right? Literally, it's the same thing as, having a bad day, right? Or failing at a business. Okay, you failed at a business. Oh my God, cry, right? That's the sad person. That's the person who feels defeated in their reality. The victim mentality, which we're going to talk about, right? The victim identity. Now, the positive person, right? Or somebody who's trying to grow, they look at that and be like, okay, bet, what did I fail at? I'm going to use this to do it again next time. Two separate identity, two separate results. Based on that identity, each of these people are going to get two separate results. Which one do you think is going to be more successful? The dude who cried after he failed, or the one who had the mindset, okay, I failed, what can I learn here? Let's continue. Which one do you think is going to have a better result, a better future? Now, it's not because they worked hard, it's because of how they thought, it's because of how their mindset was, it's because of how they saw themselves in the mirror, right? Cool, you can't have a positive mindset if you don't see yourself as positive. You can't have a positive mindset if you don't see yourself as great in the mirror. You can't. It's gonna be hard because every time something bad happens, you're gonna reinforce how you're a shitty person or how you're an L person or how you're a loser, right? That's why it's so important. Now, I'm not gonna show y'all all these examples right here, but y'all can basically kind of look at it. I might drop this PowerPoint in the description down below. Your nervous system and identity change. Yo, I don't understand why so many people make videos on changing your beliefs or manifestation or all these different things, but they don't talk about how important your nervous system and your identity play a big ass role together. I need you guys to understand this. This is not for everybody. This is for people who feel a lot of resistance. This is for people who just don't feel well within their body. Your nervous system and your identity change. Identity transformation isn't just a mental shift. It is a psychological journey that directly impacts your nervous system. Understanding this connection is the key to navigating discomfort and successful embodiment in your new financial self. Now, I know you're probably thinking what the hell is a nervous system? I don't know what the nervous system is. I'm going to summarize it for you. Your nervous system is literally your central network, right? For example, your Wi-Fi box. Your Wi-Fi box is running basically the Wi-Fi throughout your computer, your TV, your phone, your AC, your speaker. That is your nervous system. If that Wi-Fi box don't work properly, your internet is going to be fucked up, right? So that is the best way to look at it. Your nervous system is literally the control panel of your whole entire life, right? This is what senses thing, right? When you get scared and stuff like that, that's your nervous system. When you get, what is it called? When you get the bumps, y'all know what I'm talking about? That is your nervous system acting out in that moment. It is the central network of your whole entire being, right? It's what you feel, it's what you sense with. You know what I'm saying? When some feel weird, that is your nervous system. You're like, what people call intuition in a way, that's basically your nervous system. It's like tingling, it's like spider senses, like, what's up, what's going on? Like, something ain't right. That is your nervous system. It's literally like I want y'all to look at your nervous system almost like an aura field, right? Like it's literally feeling everything, right? Cool, that is your nervous system. Right? What is your belief about money? Now we're getting deep into actually how you're gonna change your life, how you're gonna become wealthy, how you're gonna get rich. in order to even do that, we must know what our belief with money is, right? Because like I said, your identity is basically a whole bunch of beliefs put into a bucket that makes who you are, right? And also past experience and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But we're keeping it money today. You could use this, like I said, for whatever part of your life, but we're keeping it money. What is your belief with money? How you feel about money can either make money want to play with you or make money hide away from you. It can make the magnet pool of money come closer or push it away. What you believe about money deep down inside becomes a crucial part of your money identity. This shapes every interaction you have with money, influences all your financial decisions, and ultimately impact your overall financial journey. For example, y'all know I'm always gonna give you an example. For example, if you believe I am capable of managing money, then when money comes, you're gonna confidently plan and save it and manage it, right? That is a positive belief. That is a positive self-belief that helps you make wise choices, right? But if you hold a negative belief with money, for example, money is hard to keep, or money always slips away through my hands, or I always fuck up money, right? If you have that mindset, when you get money, you're gonna start feeling anxious, right? Like we talked about the nervous system and your identity. The nervous system is basically almost like how you feel. Perfect example, when you get scared, you see a bear and your body just gets in fight or flight, and you want to run away, that's your nervous system, right? That's your nervous system saying, okay, let's get the fuck out of here, right? Like that sense, it's literally a spider sense. It's like, oh shit, okay, we need to do something. That is exactly what your nervous system is doing, right? So if you have a belief of, like I said, I'm always capable of managing money. When you get money, your nervous system is gonna be like, cool, let's do this shit. We can do this shit, right? Your beliefs also is gonna say the same thing, like, okay, I can do this, right? Therefore, you're in a perfect identity of somebody who does that. Therefore, you're gonna be successful when you do that. Now, if you're the negative side, right? You have the negative belief, money's hard to keep, right? Money always slips away. What happens when you get money? Since you already have a belief of money is hard to keep, your nervous system is gonna turn on. For example, you're probably gonna feel anxious, right? You're probably gonna feel powerless. You're just gonna feel like, oh shit, this is bad. Why? Because your belief is money is hard to get. Therefore, it's gonna turn on. And I'm gonna break this down in another scenario that's gonna click in your head. For example, I used to have a fear of dogs, right? The reason why I had a fear of dogs is because when I was younger, a dog chased me, almost bit my ass, right? So ever since then, I always had a fear of dogs, right? Anytime I see a big dog, I'll be like, yo, I can't be around, like, I gotta go, right? Now, I got a friend, right? He loves dogs. The nigga love animals, right? Every time me and him would be together, he would want to be like petting the dog, or like, he'd be like sweet to the dog. And me, I'm like, right? In that exact moment, like I said, the dog didn't do anything, right? Just in this exact moment, money don't do anything. It's me, based on who I am, right? When I got around the dog, due to my past experiences, my nervous system would act up, right? My nervous system and my brain had learned that, okay, I got chased by a dog when I was younger. That is danger. Dogs are danger. So when I get around a dog, not only is my mind saying, oh shit, I almost got bit by a dog, my whole body is saying, you are in danger. How does this fall into this example that I'm saying? When you get money and you say money is hard to keep, you have a negative identity. You have a negative belief on money. Therefore, when you get the money, you have to believe money is hard to keep. Just like when I see a dog, I get scared. The same exact thing is going to happen to you. You're going to get anxious and you go like, I can't do this. And guess what that ends up happening? Usually what that happens to is most of the time you're going to spend all that money, right? Most of the time you're going to go quickly spend, right? Why? Because you think money is hard to keep. So you're just going to quickly, subconsciously spend it. That's how your brain, your whole nervous system works. That's how your identity works. Your feelings are super powerful and they can change how money acts in your life. So try to think happy thoughts about money and watch it come closer to you. Now, the common beliefs about money, right? The common money beliefs. I'm sure you're probably thinking like, okay, like, you know, I understand this, but what are my money beliefs? It's super easy to see, right? We have the money is the root of all evil. Anybody who says that shit, bullshit. How the fuck can money be the root of all evil if you're the one using it? How can money be the root? That's like saying this book is the root of all evil because there's a bunch of books out here. I understand people, you know, like money and people get greedy around money, but it's your interpretation on it. Money is not the root of all evil. It's the people who use the money the wrong way that make that shit the root of all evil, right? I don't know what book this is, but it literally said in the book that money is a beautiful servant but a bad master. If you are the one in control of the money, it's a servant, right? You can put it here, you know, it's gonna do what it needs to do, right? But it's a bad master because if you worship the money, it's gonna fuck you up, right? Like stuff like this. This is where the money is the root of all evil, right? And let's break it down how this actually interprets into your nervous system. Money is a root of all evil. This belief creates a subconscious resistance to earning more, leading to feelings of guilt and fear. Already, y'all see the feeling of guilt and fear. Where does that go? The nervous system. So you have a belief that money is the root of all evil, right? Since you believe that, your body is like, fuck no. That falls into guilt and fear, right? Right. Around the financial success and abundance, right? Cool. The next one, I don't deserve wealth. That's a big one. That's one of the ones that I had, right? Honestly, that was a big one that I had. A deeply ingrained feeling of unworthiness that sabotages efforts to accumulate money and prevent individuals from accepting financial opportunities. Now, I had this one so fucking deep, y'all. To the point where I'll get so many opportunities, to the point where I'll work with people who are like, okay, yeah, I could make you $1 million in the next year, and I just wouldn't feel safe. I just wouldn't feel like I could do it. So therefore, my nervous system will fuck up, right? Therefore, I'll procrastinate, right? Since I'm feeling like wealth, I don't deserve wealth. Like I feel like, I'm not good enough for wealth at a time, right? Since I believe that, therefore, I would procrastinate. Right? I would bullshit, right? Even if I knew how to do it, a lot of you guys have so many good ideas. You know exactly what to do, but why are you not doing it? Sometimes you just don't feel like you're worthy of it. You know it's gonna work. And you know, okay, if it works and I get there, I'm not worthy of that shit. So let me not even do it at all. Right? For anybody in here who has a bunch of ideas and you know you could do it, you know you could be successful, 9 times out of 10, this is it right here. You think you don't deserve wealth because you know if you do it, it's gonna work. But then when you get there, you feel like you're gonna feel guilty, so therefore you prefer not doing it. Cool. Rich people are greedy. That's a big one. I had this one as well, right? Watching movies growing up, seeing the rich people seem like the bad people, all these different things. It makes you think, rich people are bad, right? I never grew up rich. I never grew up with money like that. So cool. Rich people are greedy, right? This judgment fosters resentment towards wealth, right? So if you think people are rich people are bad, you're going to look at anybody who's wealthy, look at anybody who has money as bad. So many of y'all do it in the comments. Like I was reading a bunch of comments. They're like, oh, daddy's money. Right? Or this kid is just talking out his head because he has money. Like, come on, bro. You just think you have resentment towards it. And since you think that way, you're not going to want to be successful. Right? Because you look at it as a negative thing. It literally creates resentment. You're going to be like, no, I can't do that. I'm not doing that. I'm staying away from that. Right? A lot of the spiritual community has this thing. And it's sad, right? Because they think that they're better because they don't care about money. And it's like, look fucking around, my nigga. Everything was bought with money. You just have a negative interpretation with money. Therefore, you try to resent it, right? Or you have a weird belief about it, right? Or you think people who have money are greedy, or money is greedy, or money is the root of all evil. No, brother. It's who you are with the money. Because I know millions of people who spend money, give money away to the homeless, right? Pay for their mama stuff, everything. Are they really bad people? No. It's who you are with the money, it's your identity. Cool. This judgment fosters resentment towards wealth, causing one to resist become financially successful to avoid being associated with greed, right? Cool. So there's obviously more negative or beliefs about money or just wealth in general. You need to sit down and think. A couple that I can think of right now is like, I need to work hard for money. If you think you need to work hard for money, it don't matter if somebody come up to you and be like, yo, I got you. I can make you $1 million in a month. Your brain is going to say that's unrealistic. Your brain is going to be like, cap, right? Or if I give you a goal like, yo, bro, make $10,000 in a month. If you think it's hard to make money, you're going to be like, bro, shut the fuck. Like, you're going to be like, bro, stay away from me. I can't do that. It's going to take me a year. You're tripping. That's not how reality works, et cetera, et cetera. Therefore, you're probably going to get to where you need to get to, but you're going to have to work hard to get to where you need to get to. And you're basically slowing yourself down. Now, understanding all these beliefs and these things should tell you this. This is why the broke stay broke and the rich stay rich. And I'm going to break down. We're just going to start with the broke stay broke. The reason why the broke stay broke is because they live in an old identity pattern. They carry old identities that consistently whisper money is hard to get, or I don't deserve to be rich, or whatever money belief you have, you're consistently thinking about it all the time. Therefore, you're forever going to stay broke. It don't matter how hard you work, bro. It don't matter how hard you work. It don't matter if you land a perfect job. If you have these beliefs, you will self-sabotage in a specific way. Scenario time. Let's just say you work for the fucking government. You work for the fucking government, right? Here's what's gonna happen. If you remain in this identity, like this negative identity you have, what happens is, let's say you make money, right? You work with the government, you make a whole bunch of money. What's more likely gonna happen is everything is energy. We must understand that. Things are gonna start happening into your life where you have to spend that money because you have this belief. In order for you to sustain that belief, because your belief, like I said, needs to be reinforced, right? If I believe that I'm a shy person, that needs to be reinforced over and over and over and over through different scenarios until I change it. So if I believe I'm a sad person, I'm a shy person, when I go out, let's say I just go to Walmart, right? That belief needs to play out So somebody might need to say something to me and I start acting shy, right? Or I might want to talk to somebody and then like I get this reflection back of, oh, this person think I'm weird, blah, blah. Therefore reinforcing that I'm a shy person and I'm awkward, I have social anxiety, blah, 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 the bullshit that niggas be talking about, right? So your belief has to play out. So if you believe that you're a broke person, you land a perfect job, I promise you, things are gonna happen. This happened to me, right? The time when I believed I was a broke person like 3 years ago, right? I made so much money. Guess what I did? I spent all the money, right? And while spending the money in my brain, I'm like, damn, fuck, I'm really bad with money. I would swipe the card. I'm like, damn, I shouldn't spend money on that. I'm bad with money. I'll be like, okay, I'll stop. Next week, swipe again. Damn, I'm bad with money, bro. Why? Because I kept saying I was bad with money. If I said I'm good with money, I'm perfect with money, and started going towards that route, one thing that would happen is I'd probably stop myself from doing dumb shit. I'd be like, okay, yeah, let me stop. Let me chill. Like, I'm good with money, right? Like, I can control myself with money, right? So understanding this, you literally see how your identity is forever going to keep playing. And this, like I said, goes back to what I always say. Life is happening through you, not to you. Everything is within. The kingdom of heaven is within. Broke people stay broke because of this thing, because it's an identity. It's not a working hard thing. It is an identity. The comfort zone trap. Their brain feels safe staying in the same place. Even if it means remaining poor, change feels scary and dangerous. So unconsciously they avoid it. We talked about the nervous system, right? When you want to change, when you want to switch something up, your nervous system is going to be like, fuck no, I don't like this, right? Try to go to the gym 5 times out the week if you've never been to the gym. Right? For like 2 days out the week, right? What happens is you don't want to do it. You don't want to do it it's not that you don't want to do it because you're lazy. You don't want to do it because you don't see yourself as somebody who does that. So therefore, when you want to do it, you're like, bro, this is not us, bro. What the fuck is you doing? Right? That's how your nervous system is acting. In your brain, what are you telling yourself? I need to go to the gym. I need to go to the gym. What is your body saying? No, we're not going to the gym. No, I'm good. I'm staying here. Why? Because your body, your nervous system, your whole entire identity don't like to be changed. It likes to protect you. That's a big thing about the nervous system. It tries to protect you. It's actually a beautiful thing, right? Because like I said, if you see a bear right now, what's your nervous system going to do? It's going to think a million ways to get the fuck out of the situation in seconds. That's when the nervous system is beautiful, right? But in moments where, you want to go to the gym, but you're being stopped, once again, that's also your nervous system playing out, right? Cool. Next, repeating the same story. Every day they reinforce the same narrative through their thoughts, words, action, keeping themselves stuck in the same cycle back to back to back to back, basically of lack, right? And like I said a second ago, it's literally like I said, your beliefs has to play out. Your identity has to play out. If I believe I don't have enough, the lottery. Perfect example, the lottery, right? Why do people win the lottery and go broke? Because it's an identity thing, right? They never had money. So therefore, let's say they manifest the lottery, they win, right? They were never an identity of somebody who had money. They were always an identity of somebody who was broke. So therefore, when they get the money, they still feel broke within. So they're going to do broke shit, right? They're going to start spending money. They're probably going to have resentment when they spend money. It's going to have to go back down to zero unless they start seeing themselves as a wealthy person, because once they adopt that identity, the beliefs of a wealthy person is going to come in and they're going to start thinking, okay, let me start saving. Let me start investing here. Let me start doing this. And then things in the reality is also going to reflect that. So cool. The rich stay rich because of this right here. Wealth identity, like I talked about. Their core identity is someone who creates and keeps wealth. This belief drives every financial choice they make. Money is a tool to them. They believe money is a powerful tool to grow their dreams, create opportunities, and help others, not something to fear or avoid. How many of y'all have fear of money? I want you to really sit down and think about that. Like, how many of y'all have a fear of money? Or how many of y'all, even if you don't fear money, how many of y'all do you look at money and be like, that shit hard, bro. I don't know. Like, you have a negative interpretation with money. And if you have a negative interpretation with money, what the fuck do you think will happen if somebody hands you $1 million of it? We need to start understanding, like I said, your life is not happening to you, it's happening through you. If you have a negative interpretation of money, whether it's money scary, whether it's money is the root of all evil, when somebody hands you $1 million, what do you think you're gonna do? That interpretation is gonna go from here to times 10 of how you feel. Talked about the nervous system and how that's gonna play a role, right? Daily aligned decisions. They make decisions from the abundant identity every single day, consistently choosing growth over comfort. Now, you're probably thinking, Dior, okay, you're telling me all these things, I'm understanding my identity, clicked in my head. How do I change it? I don't know what to do. I got you. Calm down. How to change your identity. Before you change your identity, you must know your story, right? When I say old story, you must know who you are from the past. I'll talk about this all the time, right? The present moment is all that matters. The past is fake, the future is fake, right? Whatever you are from the past, or whatever your life was in the past, 9 times out of 10, something that a lot of people do is they bring it to the present, right? Like I said, the present is the past though, but they bring it to the present, right? So therefore, if you bring it to the present, what is going to be your future? What you're thinking right now. And what were you thinking right now? Your past. So therefore, you're repeating the past in the future. Right? So in order to change everything, we must be in the present moment and understand who we are now. Right? You must understand your story. What are you telling yourself all the time? Right? Ask yourself the hard question. What story do I tell myself about money? Write every single belief that comes to mind, even the uncomfortable ones. Right? So you might write down, okay, I feel like money's scary, man. Or even scenarios. I want y'all to also write down old past things, right? Okay, when I had money, a big one for me a long time ago, right, was when I made my first $20,000. I always talk about this with y'all. I made my first $20,000 and I blew that money. Not only did I blow that money, but weird things started happening, y'all. Literally, I made $24,000 the next day. The bank blocked it, right? First time ever touching that kind of money. The bank blocks it, all right? I think before making $24,000, I probably had like at max $800 in my name. Ever in my life. That was the most I ever had. Then I made $24,000 the next day at like 17 years old, right? My brain's already like, holy shit. And it was unexpected as well, right? I didn't change my belief. I was just manifesting, right? That's the thing about manifestation. In order to manifest, you must also manifest the version of you are. And we're going to talk about that, not just manifest the goal. Cool, right? But I made $24,000, right? What ended up happening is when I made that $24,000, due to the fact that I looked at myself as somebody who don't have that much money, I looked at myself as money being stressful and being a strong responsibility, or like just negative things around money. Guess what? Right when that $24,000 hit in my bank account, my nervous system went through the roof. It started fucking up. I started being scared. I'm like, okay, what do I do next? Do I spend it here? Do I save it? Oh, I gotta pay for taxes. All these different things. And I truly believe that made me resent the money. Therefore, that's why the bank actually blocked my card the next day, right? The bank blocks my card the next day. Then I end up getting the money, right? Right when I actually end up getting the money, something happens where I pay my manufacturer for my bulk, and then the bulk takes 5 months, right? So I'm having all these negative things throughout this whole entire process, because I truly believe it is because that's who I was being. That was my identity. My identity was, okay, this is scary, this is hard, this is going to be tough, what if I fuck up, blah, blah. Therefore, I had to play out, right? So something I had to do was I had to write down the scenario. Yo, when I was 17 years old, I made like $24,000, bro. And then like this bad thing happened and it kind of scarred me a little bit from making money, because what that did for me was I looked at making a lot of money as scary, right? Because if I made the first time I ever made a bunch of money at 17 years old as well, and I get scared like that and so many bad things happen, what do you think is going to happen to my belief if I don't change that? If I don't have the strength to see what's actually going on, which at the time I didn't, right? So therefore, guess what? I looked at money as a negative thing. I looked at money as like, okay, this is scary, right? Even when I'll make money, I'll just save it. I won't touch it, right? This is a big thing for me. So I had to start looking at myself and be like, okay, I had to write it down. Like, okay, when I was 17, I made $24,000. The next day, that shit fucked up. It felt like the world was against me. It felt like money didn't fuck with me. Well, I had to write that down, right? And I had to change it, right? Recognize your limited patterns, right? Common example, I am bad with money. Rich people are greedy, we talked about that. Or I will never be wealthy, right? Or I'm not good enough to be wealthy. Or being wealthy is hard. Whatever it is, write it down, right? The awareness is the first step. We always say this, once you know what's going on, you can actually change it. If you don't know what's going on, good luck. Cool, recognizing your old belief is the crucial first step point to changing it. You cannot transform what you don't acknowledge. Cool, next thing, right? What are people around you like with money? That's another way to actually understand identity with money. What are people like around you with money, right? Or your parents is a big one, right? Look at your parents. How are they with money, right? If you grow up with your parents your whole entire life, 9 times out of 10, you're probably the same way with money, right? Until you change it. Understanding the beliefs is the first step, right? The second thing, what you guys have been waiting for, how you're going to change your identity, right? Changing into your new identity. Now that you understand exactly who you are, what your identity is with wealth, right? We need to change our identity, right? Create a powerful news story that excites and inspires you. Make it feel real and achievable, something you can step into right now, right? So it could be affirmations, right? Everybody do affirmations in the morning. A lot of people do that, right? You can say something, I'm smart with money, right? I'm wealthy, I'm extremely successful, right? All these different things is anchoring you in your new identity. Now, not just say it, but feel it. And this is why I love visualization, right? I can't say something like, I am wealthy and just feel it. I don't know, I haven't practiced that. But something I could definitely do is I could close my eyes and imagine myself being wealthy and I feel that shit. Why do we need to feel it? I have it all right. You have to get into to feel safe. I spelled that wrong. We have to get it to feel safe in your nervous system. Like I said, a lot of you guys probably manifest shit. You manifest relationship. You manifest money. What happens? You get the shit and you start getting scared. You get the shit. You start feeling weird. Then the shit goes away. You manifested it in here, but you didn't manifest it in here. Therefore, it's not aligned. Same thing for me with money. I manifested when I was 17 years old. I manifested hella fucking money. But in here, I didn't feel safe. So therefore, that shit couldn't continue living, right? It couldn't continue being my reality, right, at the time. So I had to stop and feel safe here and here. And the best way to do that to me is visualization, because when you feel it, you're actually telling your body, hey, this is a good feeling, not a negative feeling. Like I said, with a dog, right? When I look at a dog and I'm scared of a dog, but your friend looks at a dog and he sees a loving thing, in his mind, he sees a love with dog, but in his body, he feels it as well, right? So it would be literally equivalent to me saying, okay, I'm safe with dogs, but in my body, I don't feel that shit. Therefore, I'm trying to pet a dog, and I'm like, yeah, he's safe. But my body like, hell no. That's what a lot of people are doing. You must get it in a nervous system as well. So visualization is a big thing for me, because when I feel it, I'm basically initially saying, hey, this is bringing in positive emotions. Therefore, your body actually wants to go towards it more, right? Cool. Cultivate your higher self is one of the best ways to change your identity. Why do I say that, right? Everybody has their vision of who their higher self is, right? Or who their best self is. That's initially what a higher self is. If you don't know who your best self is, it's probably something you need to sit down and think about. But initially, knowing who your higher self is and stepping into that reality now is way easier than probably you trying to be wealthy. Why? Because you already know who your higher self is. You know who your higher self, like your intuition don't fucking lie to you, right? Your intuition don't lie to you. You know if your higher self would be like, okay, I'm studying right now, or I'm watching this video. You know if your higher self would be like, yo, I'm working on my business right now, or no, I need to be watching this movie. You know, right? This is why when you do certain things, you start feeling icky and weird, because you know who you know who you're supposed to be. That's initially your higher self. You know what you're supposed to be doing. That's initially your higher self calling you, right? That little voice, right? So imagining yourself as your higher self and seeing yourself as a higher self and acting like your higher self is another positive way of changing your identity. Because now you start seeing yourself as a higher version of yourself. Therefore, guess what? You're going to start doing higher version things. If I see myself as my higher self and there's a big ass glazed donut and it's 3 a.m. and I'm like, my higher self is super healthy, I'm not going to eat that donut. I'm not. I'm going to be like, no, I can't do that. That's not what my higher self would do. I can't do that, right? So for example, if I imagine myself as being a billionaire right now, it's not something that I'm looking at, okay, I can't wait to get it. I am basically trying to anchor it in my mind that I am it now, because once I do that, I'm going to start acting in those ways. For example, if I tell you that you're your higher self now, you start seeing yourself as your higher self now, what do you think you're going to start doing? You're going to start making decisions based on your higher self. Actually, like your higher self. You're going to walk like your higher self. You're going to talk like your higher self, right? Because you're anchored in that thing in this moment. Like I said, the past is fake, the future is fake. Everything happens now. Who you choose to be now is your future. The thing is, a lot of people choose to be their past now. This is why their life never changes, right? Cool. Next. So we have visualization affirmation. And y'all stay tuned as well. I'm going to be breaking out exactly how I actually change my whole entire identity a very, very specific way, because I do it very specific and it's helped me a lot, and I think it will help a lot of you guys up. And I'm also going to break down why it works, right? Cool. Next thing of ways to rewire your identity. One of the main ways that I did it was through watching and consuming content from people who, are similar to me or where I want to be, right? Consuming empowering content. Immerse yourself in a mindset of wealthy individuals by listening to podcasts, reading books, watching interviews. You internalize a perspective on money, risk, and opportunity, right? So literally watching other people actually helps you change your whole entire identity, right? We always say this. I say this all the time. If you got 4 dumb friends, you're probably the 5th one. Right? If you have 4 slow friends, you're probably going to be the 5th one, right? Because we're a product of our environment all the time, a lot of times, right? So you watching other content, you watching other creators, you watching or being around other people that are wealthy will make you wealthy. I promise you right now, if you hang out with Donald Trump for the whole entire year and you make, let's say before you hang out with Donald Trump, you make like fucking $30 a day, right? Like, I don't even know, even $1, a homeless person, bro. Put a homeless person around Donald Trump, right? For a whole entire year. He doesn't even have to teach you anything. Just being around him will change your identity, right? A lot of times, just being around that person will absolutely change your identity. And I promise you, you're going to be the next successful, right? So hanging around people who are actually successful, watching content, reading books, right? Like, I'm pretty sure like almost everybody who's into business has this book right here, Think and Grow Rich, right? Reading books like that actually changes the way you look at things, because at the end of the day, those books are just a bunch of people's thoughts, right? A person's thoughts, that is basically where you want to be at. So you taking in information from that person is actually leading you towards where you want to be at, right? Just like 4 dumb friends, you're probably the 5th one, right? 4 rich friends, you're more likely going to be the 5th one. Next, acting like your new identity now. We talked about it a second ago, man. You're making decisions second by second based on your new identity, not something that you're putting away like, oh, I need to become my new identity. I need to become the wealthy version of myself. No, I'm it right now. And since I'm it right now, what do I do since I'm being it right now? That's how you look at it. It's not, okay, I need to become this, and then when I become it, I'm going to, no, you are it right now. And since you're it right now, what do you do? Right? You are wealthy right now. You are the millionaire version of yourself right now. So what do you do? When you look at it like that, that's how you actually change your whole entire identity. Because if I'm being the millionaire version of myself right now and I'm sitting over here eating potato chips, that shit don't make sense. It don't correlate, right? Same way that if I play basketball, but every day I'm only around people who play football and I'm going practicing football, that don't make sense. I might as well become a football player. That's called alignment, right? So same way with your identity. Right now, who are you being? It's not something that you wait through later. No, who are you being right now? Right? Make decisions. Ask yourself, what would a rich version of myself be doing right now? Then do it. Even if it feels uncomfortable. It's gonna feel uncomfortable, right? Why is it gonna feel uncomfortable? We talked about the nervous system. It don't like change. So it's gonna feel uncomfortable. Don't be mad that it's gonna feel uncomfortable. It's gonna feel uncomfortable. It doesn't like change. That is normal. Like I said, if you go to the gym 2 times out the week and I tell you to go 5 times now, you're not gonna wanna do that shit. But you must make that your new identity. A lot of people in the manifestation community, a lot of people who want to change their reality has this weird thing when it comes down to something feeling uncomfortable. That is normal. I need y'all to understand that, right? If you go to the gym and you working out, you think it's supposed to feel comfortable? No, it's gonna hurt because that's growth. That's tension to the body. And since it's tension to the body, right? Sooner or later, that same tension with those weights is not going to be tension no more. It's going to be lighter tension, meaning I'm growing, right? Same way that you're starting a business right now, you're stressing out all the time. Oh, this is a lot of work. In a few months from now, this is going to be light work, and you're probably going to up your amount of lot of work. And I still don't believe working hard makes you more money, but I'm just giving an example, right? Therefore, the work that you were doing before ain't shit. I always say this: when you go to the gym, the weight doesn't change. You just get stronger. So if you start with 10 pounds, or a lot of us like 25 pounds, right? I know everybody who started working out 25 pounds is like, damn, they struggle a little bit. A few months down the line, 25 pounds did not change. You got stronger. Therefore, it's lighter. Build wealthy habits. Save money. Consistently learn about investing. Read books about wealth. And say no to bad financial deals. At the end of the day, all of this right here is just all about embodying the new version of yourself who is wealthy. What does your wealthy version do? Before you do anything, before you do any behavior, before you do any decision, you must sit here and say, what does my wealthy version of myself do? Because a lot of people like always be like, I don't know what to do, bro. Like, I don't know if this is the right answer. You're just in the identity of somebody who's unsure of himself. You're in the identity of somebody who doesn't trust herself. But when you fall under I'm the wealthy version of myself, right? I know everything that I want. Right? Changing your identity again, right? You do that, you start understanding that I do know what I want. I do know exactly what to do, even if it feels uncomfortable. Why? Because in those moments, you're being the best version of yourself. Not just the best version of yourself, but whatever that is, a millionaire, a trillionaire, a billionaire, right? You're being that version of yourself in that moment. Therefore, you get the results, right? Now, here's the thing. When you start changing your identity, we talked about it, right? Your nervous system ain't gonna like it, right? Your identity is not gonna like it as well, right? So warning signs your old belief is fighting back, which is a beautiful thing. If your old belief is fighting back, you're at the edge of it. Why? Let's break it down, right? Say you want to become a millionaire. And you start taking action, right? And then all of a sudden, it's just like weird things start happening, right? You start getting tired. You start getting burnt out. Really what that is you're actually at the edge of breaking past that belief. You're at the edge of breaking past the identity. Why? Because you're only really feeling stressed out and tired and all these things because that's not your normal. Your body basically saying, hey, bro, this is not normal. What you got going on, right? We're used to sitting down, eating potato chips. You over here staring at the computer all night. What the hell you do? Like, can we stop? Can we stop this? Right? That's actually what's going on in those moments. So that's actually your old identity trying to fight back because it's like, bro, I don't like this. Like, you being weird to me right now. We need to go back to the regular, right? So guess what? That leads to self-sabotaging, right? You might find yourself unconsciously undermining your progress. Like you make an impulsive purchase, right? Like you do something just impulsive, like, okay, I've been doing great. You just be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna bullshit eat a little bit, right? That's actually your old self coming back, right? You might procrastinate, right? You might, the tasks that you need to do financially, you might just be like, man, fuck that, I ain't doing that right now, right? Inner critics, right? Old beliefs about money start popping up. Oh, what if, you know, when you start getting the money, you start getting the bag, it's like the beliefs get louder. Yo, what if we fuck up? Like, bro, you need to chill, like I said, it's just your old self, your old beliefs is being triggered in that moment, right? Because comfortability, this is why they say comfortability is bad. Because when you're comfortable, you're staying as the version of you already are. Being uncomfortable is better because when you become uncomfortable, you're challenging your old self. You're challenging your old self. And when you challenge your old self, what happens? You're actually growing, right? So this is why like your old beliefs might pop in your head. Inner critics, right? Oh, don't do that. You're dumb. Oh, this is stupid, bro. You've never done this before. You're a failure. All right, all these things come around, right? Because that's your old belief, right? So shooting out your comfort zone, we talked about it a little bit, right? You're already going out your comfort zone. Like this is your bubble right here. You're just doing shit outside of it, right? So now it's like fighting back. Okay, I don't like this, bro. You bullshitting. You need to stop, right? You get weird thoughts, right? You start self-sabotaging, right? You start hanging around old people again, like all these different things because at the end of the day, right? Your old belief doesn't like change. Now, signs that you're actually manifesting, right? Signs that you're actually coming into your new reality. Now, when you slowly start doing these things, something that happens is a lot of the times your new belief, your new identity slowly starts reinforcing itself, right? So you start seeing things like synchronicities, right? Like you probably meet somebody who'll be like, yeah, we do this all the. How many of y'all have been watching my videos and all of a sudden your life is getting more spiritual? Like it's getting more like, what the fuck? Like, okay, why? Because you slowly start to become somebody who is aware of those things. Your identity, you started to get an identity of somebody who is spiritually aware. So therefore now you start seeing it more. Synchronicities is happening. Why? Because what you believe about yourself must reinforce itself, right? Therefore, if you start believing yourself as a wealthy person, that must reinforce itself. And it'll happen very little, right? Very tiny. For example, your friend might make random money. You just call, yo, bro, I just like dead ass won a parlay. Like, what the fuck? Like, this shit crazy. That is a little physical representation of, okay, I'm starting to see myself as wealthy. Therefore, wealth is starting to show in my life. It may not be in my hands yet, but it's starting to show in my life, right? Videos might start popping up. You might find me, shit. You probably found this video. You probably found me through that, right? You slowly tapping into it. And you found this video. It's like, oh shit, hold on. You right? Like I'm starting to understand this shit, right? You see your favorite car, right? This is a perfect example. When, I always say this all the time. When you want a car, right? You're like, damn, I want that car. All of a sudden, next week, boom, popping up. Why? Because it became a part of your identity. It became a part of within, right? In the kingdom of heaven. It played a part in the kingdom of heaven, right? So therefore, now you start seeing it everywhere, right? You're it within, so therefore, you start seeing it everywhere. Once again, kingdom of heaven is within. Everything is happening through you, not to you. You're not a victim to your reality. Everything is happening because of you, because it's happening through you. Your habits, it becomes easy, right? So a lot of times, like, it's hard to do something. This is why they tell you that you need to become consistent at something to be good at it, right? Or, for example, I give this example to everybody who wants to do YouTube. Yo, how do you hold the camera? Like, how do you start talking on camera? Consistency. Right? Because at first when you start talking on camera, you're scared, you're icky, I don't know, it looks weird. But eventually, since you do it so much, right, it becomes a part of your identity where it's easy. Pop the camera up, talk, right? Some people are scared to talk on camera, some people are not, right? I feel like most people are always scared to talk. It don't matter how confident you are, when you first pick up a camera, it's weird. It's weird, right? But eventually it becomes easy as hell. Why? Because it became a part of your identity, so therefore it's light work, right? You do it easy. Right? So consistency sometimes is also like a big thing about all this. You have to be consistent. That's another thing I'm gonna say, right? Aligned connection, we talk about that a little bit. Like you might start getting people just popping around, like talking about what you want to talk about, right? Talking about wealth, et cetera, right? Increasing inner confidence, right? Whatever it is, wealth, you start being like, damn, I can't do that shit, right? When you start changing your mindset, it's like, damn, I can't do it. Before you might have been like, I can't do it, it's hard. You start being like, yo, I can do it. Oh, hold on, this idea right here, damn, this is another great way to do it. Unexpected opportunities, this is a big one, right? I don't know, I might reach you out, what's going on, bro? I see, in my comments. I don't know, like I just felt the energy, man. I just felt like I need to tap in with you, right? All of a sudden, you do something that I'm here for, right? And I can help you with something, we collab, right? This always happens, right? It's actually a big thing, right? So yeah, these are just a few signs that you're actually changing your beliefs, right? Some things just literally start popping up. Or changing your identity, things popping up that reinforces that you're changing it, right? Cool. How does this make me rich, Dior? I'm understanding it, right? Like, but can you break it down more how this make me rich? Okay, cool. First things first, you're gonna start unlocking new possibilities, right? When you truly believe wealth is attainable for you, your mind instinctively starts scanning for evidence, right? Suddenly you notice investment opportunities, right? Start thinking about new streams of income. Literally, right? For example, I can give you another example, right? You could literally be scrolling on TikTok right now. If you see yourself as a broke person, you scroll on TikTok. This is a perfect example. You see yourself as a broke person. Your identity is a broke person. You scroll on TikTok. Oh, how to make money, blah, blah. You see a video. Bullshit. Swipe. Somebody pop up, mentorship. Yo, I got this mentorship to make $10,000. Swipe. That's a broke person. A rich person, somebody who believes they can be wealthy. Yo, this new business. Okay, hold on. Let me tap into this. Because this shit possible. They have wealth in their mind already. So when they see that, they're like, oh, this is an opportunity. Cool, let me click on it. Oh shit, okay, he doing this. Shit, let me try that out. Even if it doesn't work. He doesn't see himself as a broke person. You don't see yourself as a broke person. Therefore, you're actually even willing to try it out. Like, hold on, this might be real. Man, let me try it. Because you believe in wealth. So since you believe in wealth, you're actually probably going to believe in that thing. And it gets so deep. For example, let's say you do it first time. Right? Let's say you do it first time and you're like, damn, it didn't work. And you're in your wealthy identity. Something you're going to do is you're going to double down. You're going to be like, okay, how did it not work? Why did it not work? Let me do it again. Broke person on the other hand, let's say he even decides to try it out. He fucks up once. This shit don't work. Excuses after excuses. Why? Because you don't believe in wealth. You don't see yourself as a wealthy person. And if you don't see yourself as a wealthy person, you do not believe in wealth. If you see yourself as a broke person, you believe in broke. You believe in scarcity. So anything that doesn't have to do with scarcity is cap. Cool. We kind of broke down all of this right here, attracting solutions and resources. I basically broke that down. You know, you're gonna start attracting things, attracting literally the example I just told y'all. Like, you might see something online, be like, yo, let me tap into that. All of a sudden, that's the business that you're doing. Literally, what happened to me, right? Literally, y'all. I was always into fashion, right? I was always into fashion during quarantine. I was always into fashion. Now I was like, damn, I want to become wealthy. Right? I want to become rich, right? All of a sudden, I'm just like, okay, connecting the two dots. I got clothes. I'm fire at making clothes. I have the audience. Yo, let me make a clothing brand. This happened out of nowhere. It just popped up in my head like, yo, why don't I just make a clothing brand, right? And it wasn't even something that I was like, oh, I need to be rich. It was just something I was just like, damn, I want money, bro, right? And then a few weeks later, it was just like, yo, just create a clothing brand. The version of you who was successful at one point, you were probably successful at something, going to the gym, right? Or eating healthy or whatever it is, right? I need you to understand that same version of you who's successful there has the ability to be successful with money, with being rich, right? It's still you, bro. Like, nothing is wrong with you. Like, you're not a procrastinator, all these things. If you're successful in one area of your life, you could be successful in the other area. Because that just shows you how much power you have. And that's something that she learned in the movie, right? She realized that the whole time, her looking ugly, right? Versus her looking pretty, which nothing changed. She realized that, hey, nothing changed. I changed. And due to the fact that she realized I changed, she started to realize that, damn, since I changed, things changed. But I never changed. The version of me who was here and here, the outside never changed. It's been the same person the whole time. And this is why I always say everything happens in the present moment. Because the version of you who's going to become a fucking millionaire is the same version of you now. It's not a new version that you need to unlock and change to and be. Bro, you're already it now. You just have to realize it. Do you understand that the same version of you who's running around trying to start a business is the same version of you who was 1 year old taking your first step? It's still you, right? So understanding that, it should really help you understand that, damn, like, it's been me the whole time. Like, I really have the power to do this shit. Literally, the version of you who was broke as shit is still gonna be the same version of you who's rich as hell. You change within. It's not an outside thing. Cool, so now I wanna break a few things down, right? A few misconceptions that I feel like people don't understand. And it's actually something that slows people down a lot, right? I wanna break down this right here. Identity versus the goals, right? Some people set goals and some people set identities, right? And I'm gonna break down exactly how this shit plays out and why it's important to be put into your identity or anchored into your identity than just trying to hit a goal. Boom, perfect example. Goal-based type of change, right? A goal-based type of change, I want to make $10,000 a year. Light work, by the way. But I want to make $10,000 a year. You're driven by external things, right? You're driven by temporary sprint, right? Because once you hit $10,000 a year, you're probably gonna stop. Or when you get there, you might be like, okay, I can't go past this. This is too much, right? That's a goal-achieving mindset. Right? That's how you, I'm not saying don't set goals, but I want y'all to tap into more of an identity. Why? This is the difference between the goal setting mindset and identity. The identity is, I'm a financial responsible person who is continuously saving and growing. Right? Let's say that's your identity, right? guess what you're going to end up doing? Number one, you're going to save. Number two, you're going to continue growing. So that 10K is light work because you're probably going to get the 10K, but since you're somebody who continuously grow, you're tapping into that identity, you're probably going to get to 20, 30, 40. Nigga, you're probably going to get to $1 billion, right? Until, whatever number you want. Because your goal is continuously growing. That's the identity you see yourself as, right? A lot of people do this all the time. A lot of people do this all the time. Going to the gym, right? I don't know if y'all have a friend or somebody around, you see them have 5 different gym transformations, right? Why is that? Because they're always like, okay, I'm not healthy. Or, I'm overweight, right? Or I'm too skinny, whatever it is, right? They're like, okay, I need to change. I need to become skinny. Okay, boom, you become skinny. But if that's all you think, then what's going to happen is you're going to probably start eating again when you become skinny because you finally got your goal of being skinny. So therefore, you're going to stop going to the gym, right? And then so later you're going to gain weight again. And you're going to be like, damn, I did it again. I need to become skinny again. You were never anchored into the version of you who wants to be healthy. That's the difference, right? That's the goal. I need to be skinny. That's a goal mindset. The identity mindset is I need to become a healthy person. If you become a healthy person, when you become skinny, you're focused on being a healthy person. So therefore, you're going to keep doing the things that got you there because you are a healthy person. Same thing like I told you, all right? If you start looking at yourself as a wealthy version of yourself, you can't sit on the couch and eat potato chips no more because it doesn't work with your identity, right? So you're going to be like, okay, I need to get to work. I need to do what I need to do, right? So that's the difference between an identity-based and goal-based. I need y'all to all focus on becoming the person that do whatever you want. I want a Lamborghini. Become the version of you who has that Lamborghini, right? He probably works on a business. She probably works on a business. She probably do something. He probably do something every day. You need to anchor that and not just focus, oh, I need a Lamborghini. Because if you just think I need a Lamborghini, what's going to happen is you're going to work, get to the Lamborghini, but you're going to stop working 9 times out of 10. Right? So cool. The few of you guys are probably understanding everything that I'm saying, but these are really, really important things that a lot of people mess up at, right? I want to break down these specific kind of identities and something that you need to throw fucking away because it's actually ruining your life every fucking day. And how this can actually ruin your wealth as well. First thing is first, the victim identity. To me, this is the most deadliest identity, I'm not going to lie, right? The victim identity. This identity frames life as it's happening to you rather than for you or through you, like we talked about. You see yourself as helpless, often unable to break cycles and take initiatives. Example, right? I'll give you an example. Scenario. A team member consistently complains about being overloaded with work, blaming their manager and colleagues for their stress, right? The blind spot they don't see because they're just being a victim. What they don't see, they're being a victim to their reality. So therefore they think shit is happening to them. Like, oh, this is happening to me. What they don't see, right? Because the perception, right? What their perception is blinded by is they fail to see the opportunities to set boundaries and delegate tasks effectively, or even communicate their work overload or seek alternative solutions like processing improvements. They're focused on the external world and blaming circumstances instead of taking their life in their own hands and understanding that I can make a decision to change this, right? And a lot of people do this all the time, right? A lot of people are like, damn, this economy, bro. I just hate this economy. Like, bro, we're so broke. Like, the economy is so fucked up. Yeah, the economy is messed up. But I know hella 16-year-old with lambs, right? Is the economy really messed up? Or are you just holding the fact that the economy is messed up for you? Or are you just holding the fact that, okay, since the economy is messed up, it gives me an excuse to not do what I need to do? See what I'm saying? Next, the poor identity, right? I'm just going to summarize this. I don't even need to look at this because I understand this all the way. The poor identity. Okay, I'm a poor person, right? You see the world as poor. You don't see money out there. So I'll give you the perfect example. Like I said earlier, somebody might give you an opportunity to make a lot of money, but you're going to think the world is poor. Therefore, you're going to procrastinate on it because you really don't believe you're going to make a lot of money. You live in lack. You live in scarcity, right? Next, the always busy identity, right? A lot of people are like this. Oh, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to do it, right? You're so focused on the fact that you think you don't have the time that you don't try to create time for it. A lot of people do this, right? Next, the perfectionist mindset. Hey, man, I'm gonna be real with y'all. The perfectionist mindset, that's a big one. It was me, right? Oh, I can't do this until the writing right, man. I can't do it. So therefore, I procrastinate and I push the video for later on. The expert, right? This is somebody who thinks they know everything, right? I might tell you an opportunity like, yo, you can make money here. But I already know that shit, bro. It don't work. Oh, bro, like I already researched it, bro. I don't know. It don't work that well. You think you all fucking that? that you don't even see the goddamn opportunity to do what you need to do, right? That's funny. Somebody's staring at me. Yo, having like a floor to ceiling windows is like people just stare at you all the time. But yeah. Now to end this video off, I'm gonna break down exactly how I changed my identity, and I believe that this is the best way to do it. Like I said, I'm gonna have all this for y'all to read, probably in the description down below. But cool. How I changed my identity. We have to understand something, and I'm gonna get really, really fucking deep. 9 times out of 10, your identity comes from your parents or whoever you grew up with. I grew up from West Africa, right? But something they know, we probably don't have that much money and our parents work super duper hard, right? So something I realized was, okay, my identity is shaped from that, so therefore I'm gonna carry these beliefs and these things with me throughout my whole entire life. So this is why when I made money, it felt weird. This is why I always felt like I needed to work hard for money. This is why I always felt like I always needed to only get by, or I could only get by, right? Because it came from all that. So what I actually started doing is, like I told you, I changed my whole entire identity based on how I visualize, right? And this is what I started to do. I started to rewriting my past. Right? Because if I rewrite my past, I'm basically saying, yo, you didn't grow up that way. You grew up this way. So if you grew up this way, this is actually how you're supposed to be. So something that I did was, first things first, I literally visualized myself and seeing my parents as CEOs. I see my parents as the best ever. I seen my whole entire past as the best past ever. Right? I would literally rewrite my past and say, okay, my mom is a CEO, my dad is a CEO. They treated me well. They gave me good beliefs. I was taught by my dad how to be disciplined, right? I was always good at everything when I was younger, right? Because when I change my identity to this and I'm in my visualization, right? And I'm in there deep and I'm feeling it, right? What actually happens is when I open my eyes, every negativity that I had about myself, it's not true. Because I'm basically telling myself that my past was this way. So if my past was this way, how can there be any negativity here? And this is literally what I do, right? Literally visualize your parents, especially for wealth. Visualize your parents as wealthy as fuck. I want you to visualize being Donald Trump's son or daughter, right? Do you think if he was Donald Trump's son or daughter, you would have anything negative when it comes to wealth? No. You'd be like, man, this is a piece of cake. My dad is Donald Trump, right? I want you to do the same thing. Start visualizing your parents or your friends, or just visualize you being good at whatever the hell it is you do. Right? Visualize your parents, and that's a big thing. I say parents because our parents are literally like our gods, right? Our parents were the first people to give us any kind of beliefs. So 9 out of 10, when it comes down to like feeling emotions, if you visualize your parents, a lot of times you're gonna feel the emotions deeper because your parents was initially like the first people that that you've seen. You're the first people that gave you any kind of emotional connection, etc., right? Any kind of beliefs, right? Or whoever you grew up with, right? Your friends being wealthy, living in a beautiful neighborhood. Visualize you having a lot of money when you were younger and your dad sitting you down and saying, hey, this is how you manage money. Okay, put money here. It's gonna double down, right? You visualize your parents walking in and be like, yeah, we just made $10 million. And this is how, son. We made it like this. And when you get older, I need you to do the same thing. I need you to be a billionaire. You doing those things is actually anchoring you in the identity of the version of you that is super wealthy, right? That grew up with rich parents. A lot of people hate on people who grew up with rich parents, but these people are going to keep getting richer and richer. And if we go back, what did I say? The broke stay broke and the rich stay rich. Literally because of what I'm saying right now, right? Because what I'm saying is, basically, since you grew up as a poor person, you're probably just going to continue going poor. But if we're able to go back and rewrite our story from the past and look at ourselves as a rich person, what's going to happen? I'm more likely going to start becoming rich. So I just, you got to do this, right? Start surrounding your mind when you visualize with the best version of you. I passed everything in school. I was so successful at everything I did. My parents were so proud of me. My parents installed so many great beliefs. My parents installed discipline in me. My parents installed strength in me. My dad installed, that's literally how I visualize. I visualize my dad literally talking to me like, hey son, you the best at whatever the fuck you do. You failed? Cool, get back up, let's go. Right? And when I get out this visualization, I'd be like, hold on, bro. I'm procrastinating about this, man. My dad taught me how to be you know what I'm saying, strong. So therefore I do it, right? Or my mom taught me how to be a real CEO. My mom taught me how to set boundaries, right? This is literally what I do in my meditation. And then when I get out, I'm like, okay, I look at the world so differently, right? And a lot of times you're gonna be able to feel those emotions, like I said, because a lot of the times your parents are like God to you, right? Your parents are literally like God to you. Right? So yeah, that's exactly how I initially changed my identity. And like I said, right, to end this off, the change is now. right? Identity is a choice, y'all. It's not something you need to go get, right? It's a choice. It's something you start acting now. You start believing about yourself now. Like I said, everything is right now, right? I need y'all to go do the homework. That's your homework, right? Go visualize yourself. Literally after this video, I want you 10 minutes, bro. I might even play like a 10-minute meditation after this video. Just visualize yourself being the best version of you. Visualize your parents talking to you and saying, hey, you are the best at this shit. You can't be stopped. I'm gonna leave 10 minutes for private meditation video music for y'all to listen to. And then right when you're done with that, please tell me how you feel right after. Right? So yeah, with that being said, that is exactly how you're gonna change your identity to become extremely fucking rich. And for anybody who's a 6-7 figure business owner, or even 5-figure business owner, and you're looking to change your identity, actually get to that next level with your income, click that link in the description down below if you actually wanna work with me and change your whole entire life around. So yeah, with that being said, I appreciate every single one of you watching this video. Meditation music is next. I want you to close your eyes, listen to the music for around 10 to 5 minutes, and just see yourself, your parents talking to you and saying that you're the best at whatever the fuck you do, and tell me how you feel in the comments down below after that. And I want you to do shit every single day after. It could be your parents, it could be your friends, just your loved ones. Any loved ones. I like parents because a lot of the times, like I said, everything is from the past. So if you imagine your younger self sitting with your parents and they're teaching you wealth, everything, discipline, strength, I promise you, you're gonna feel different after that. And I want you to let me know in the comments down below how you feel. And with that being said, that's it for today's video.